Hey, this is LaShonda Henry here, creator of the Unblock Your Blessings 90-Day Challenge, created to help you build your best business, life, and self. As always, I hope you are getting a wealth of information out of the challenge and have connected with me at some point to let me know how you're doing, how your progress is, what you found or felt about our sessions this far. And of course, I hope you are having a beautiful and blessed day wherever you are. Even when it's a rainy day, we've got to figure out how to find that sunshine inside the rain, right? So today's step, as always, we go through the choice, the significant choice that I feel like I want to share with you, a little bit of chat, some personal one-on-one, and then the challenge. Today's choice is I want you to choose now versus never, which obviously is pretty self-explanatory, right? You think about your business, your vision, what you want for your life, and you go, well, maybe this is never going to happen. I want you to say to yourself, no, I'm going to choose now versus never. As always, sometimes I integrate personal experiences or things that I've heard or found or seen or read, because all of those things have become a part of me. On one of my social media excursions on Facebook, I remember looking at an interesting infographic that mentioned Julia Childs and the ridiculous age she was the first time she decided to boil an egg. And of course, I had to watch Julia's movie. And if you haven't watched that, definitely do that. Julia and Julia, a story of a blogger named Julia who took on the mission of learning how to cook Julia Child's recipes. But outside of that, just kind of getting some information for myself, found out that she was actually 37 years old when she went into culinary school. And obviously you think to yourself, there are kids. I actually watched this documentary about some inner city kids that went to culinary school. It wasn't Hot Chef. Goodness, I wish I could tell you the name. But it was very interesting. And you think, okay, well, culinary school, this is something that you're perfecting in something like high school or in college, and you're young and you're vibrant and you got all these ideas. And she decided and realized this was something that she was passionate about and committed to doing when she was 37. It doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter what your experience is. It doesn't matter when you decide that this is what I want to do with my life. This is what my passion is. What matters is that you choose now versus never. You never want to be in a position where you say, well, I'm too old, or I'm too inexperienced, or I've done too much and I really can't start over again. Or you never want to be in those experiences, because you don't know what's going to happen now. You don't know what is waiting for you next when you take that first leap of faith and do what needs to be done to unblock your blessings. So I want you to think about that today. Now versus never. What's something in your life that you feel like you've been waiting on, that you said, okay, well, I want to do this, but I don't think it's going to happen for me. So let's chat a little bit before we get to that challenge. I actually think about there's a lot of things that kind of held me back and to say, well, I'm never going to get to drive, but eventually I made that happen for myself, right? I fought the fears and I made that happen for myself. I also think about little things that happen sometimes. Actually, a few days ago, in the process of me saying, okay, I'm going to get ready to do Unblock Your Blessings and share all this wonderful stuff with you all, I came across an event that I heard about a year ago. And I thought this is absolutely fabulous. And I would love to go to this event, but I can't go now. I'm going to go next year. And of course, now it's next year. And I see the event a couple of days ago and go, wow, I totally missed this event. And so again, I didn't get to go. But I'm not going to say that I'm never going to go. I'm absolutely going to go. And I'm putting it in my agenda for next year. By the way, every year you should have a calendar. So it's in my calendar to go to this event and make it happen next year. But it wasn't in there before. Before it was kind of like a thought, like, oh, this is interesting, I should definitely go, which is why I forgot about it and didn't make it happen. But when you see something and not just see it, but you put it into your agenda, then that changes everything, right? And so I could look at it and say, well, you know, I didn't go last year and I forgot this year. I'm never going to go. I'm never going to make it happen. But I am, because now a part of my agenda. And that's how you have to see things. now versus never. There are a lot of times where there are missed opportunities or people that I wanted to have met or events that I wanted to go to, and I don't look at it as, God, it's never going to happen. I'm never going to meet so-and-so. I should have been there. I totally missed it. And da-da-da. And yeah, that sucks. 5 minutes later, get over it. Because just because you didn't get that feature or you didn't see that person that time doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. You've got to have the mindset where you choose now versus never. Case in point, I think I've gone to at least 2 to 3 events where I've had the pleasure of listening to Lisa Price speak. Every time I say to myself, oh my God, I have to meet her, and it didn't happen. There was one time in particular that I came out of the restroom and someone was like, oh my God, I just met Lisa Price, and da-da-da. And I was like, oh my God, I was just like 5 seconds. I was freaking out, right? Because I was like, I didn't get to meet Lisa Price. Until, of course, if you've seen it, you've seen a few photos of me and her on my blog. There was one day I went to an event. She was on the stage and I said, this is going to happen. This is now versus, it was definitely a now versus never situation. So I knew that they were about to wrap up. I knew she was about to leave. So literally like 5-10 minutes before they were about to wrap up, I head towards the door because I knew it was a now versus never situation and I was going to meet her. I was going to talk to her. We were going to have a photo. We were going to have a sister sense moment. It was going to happen. The vision was there. I didn't care that I met her like several times prior and I didn't get to actually physically talk to her. It was going to happen now. And so I made sure my camera was ready and people wanted to talk to me. And I was like, yeah, great. Gotta go. And I made it happen. And they were like, I'm sorry, Lisa Price can't talk to you right now. And I was like, oh my God, can I talk to you while you're in the process of leaving? I would love to talk to you. And I was a total fan, right? Because she's the creator of Carol's Daughter. She's a Brooklyn girl like me. Just total fan of her story and her experience. Read my blog. You'll know how much of a fan I am of Lisa Price, creator of Carol's Daughter. But I say this to say, she was like, sure. And of course, I was in love at that moment. And I talked to her for only a small snippet of time. But just seeing her smile and engage and listen to me and even go so far as to take a picture with me when security was trying to rush her out, just words cannot express. And of course, I talked about that in great deal on my blog, and I got a fabulous picture with me and her. And sometimes, you know, when you can get a picture and you make the funky face. So my hubby, he's my photographer for all my events, and he didn't come to this event in particular, but he usually will take at least 10 photos of me because he's like, I know you're going to hate 9 of them. So hopefully one of them you like. There was only one photo that could be taken because it was a now or never situation, and folks were like, Lisa has to go, no more pictures, because then other people started to come the slower that the more time she took with me. And that picture just came out to be absolutely fabulous. Smiles and all. I wouldn't have changed anything. Plus, it was on my iPhone. So it wasn't like I had the big boy $1,500 Canon that day. I just had my iPhone. But it worked out. It was an absolutely positively perfect experience, but it was a now or never situation. I didn't get myself in a rut where every time I saw her, I was pissed off, right? You know, action versus anger, and said, well, it's never going to happen. I want to meet her. Things always get screwed up. No. I just kind of bided my time and knew that if there was another event, I was going to be there. And rather than wishing and waiting for it to happen, I was going to will and work at it by getting off my butt, running to the door, and making something happen. So I want you to think about that for yourself. What is it's never going to happen? I'm either too old or too inexperienced, or it's too hard to start up right now. It's going to take forever. Again, she went to culinary school when she was 37. Okay? And look at her now. She's known as one of our greatest chefs and women cooks. And she's created a legacy for herself at an age where people would be like, what? You needed to have gone like 20 years ago. Why are you starting this now? Even when, I watched Julia, and she talks about the culinary schools that she went to. And as a woman, it was like, you're a woman. Why are you here? No, you don't. Cooking no less, but of course, you cook to feed the kids and your husband. You don't cook to be a renowned chef. That's what men do. So even changing the status quo, and like I said, another step being different, she was going above and beyond, plus choosing now versus never. So compounding step upon step as far as unblocking your blessings. There's so much potential that you have. You just have to figure out what is that thing that you feel like maybe it's never going to happen for me, and how you can go one step further, one small step to making it happen for yourself now versus never. So that's your challenge. We had some chat. make a choice, and we'll talk more on blockyourblessings.com. Take care.